Good evening. My name is Lisa Coston, and I'm so excited to be here with you tonight to read. When I was a little girl, my mom would read stories to me and my brother and my two sisters every night, and I learned so much about reading and learning to love it, especially when Mama would choose longer books that were chapter books, and every night she'd read a new chapter, and I'd be so excited to find out what would happen the next night. So today I've chosen a book that is a chapter book, and I'm going to read the first couple of chapters to you, and then I hope you'll download the rest of the book for free and find out what happens next. So tonight I'm going to read for you My Father's Dragon by Harriet Styles Gannett. One rainy, cold day when my father was a little boy, he met an old alley cat on the street. The cat was very drippy and uncomfortable, so my father said, "Wouldn't you like to come home with me?" This surprised the cat. She'd never before met anyone who cared so much about old alley cats. But she said, "I'd very much obliged if I could sit by a warm furnace and perhaps have a saucer of milk." "We have a very nice furnace to sit by," my father said, "and I'm sure my mother has an extra saucer of milk." My father and the cat became good friends. But my father's mother was very upset about the cat. She hated cats, particularly ugly old alley cats. "Elmer, elevator," she said to my father. "If you think I'm going to give that cat a saucer of milk, you're very wrong. Once you start feeding stray alley cats, you might as well expect to feed every stray cat in town, and I am not going to do it." This made my father very sad, and he apologized to the cat because his mother had been so rude. He told the cat to stay anyway, and that somehow he would bring her a saucer of milk every day. My father fed the cat for 3 weeks, but one day his mother found the cat's saucer in the cellar, and she was extremely angry. She spanked my father and put the cat outside. But later on, my father sneaked out and he found the cat. Together, they went for a walk in the park and tried to think of nice things to talk about. My father said, "When I grow up, I'm going to have an airplane. Wouldn't it be wonderful to fly just anywhere you might think of?" "Would you like to fly very, very much?" asked the cat. "I certainly would. I'd do anything if I could fly." "Well," said the cat, "if you'd really like to fly that much, I think I know of a sort of a way you might get to fly while you're still a little boy." "You mean you know where I could get an airplane?" "Well, not exactly an airplane, but something even better. As you can see, I'm an old cat now, but in my younger days, I was quite a traveler. Last spring, I took just one more trip and happened to miss the boat I was waiting for. While waiting for the next one, I thought I'd look around a bit. I was particularly interested in a place called Wild Island, which we had passed on our way to Tangerina. Wild Island and Tangerina are joined together by a long string of rocks, but people never go to Wild Island because it's mostly jungle and inhabited by very wild animals. So I decided to go across the rocks and explore it for myself. It certainly is an interesting place, but I saw something there that made me want to weep. Wild Island is practically cut in two by a very wide and muddy river," continued the cat. "This river begins near one end of the island and flows into the ocean at the other end. Now, the animals there are very lazy, and they used to hate having to go all the way around the beginning of this river to get to the other side of the island. It made visiting inconvenient and mail deliveries slow, particularly during the Christmas rush. Crocodiles could have carried passengers and mail across the river, but crocodiles are very moody. and not the least bit dependable, and are always looking for something to eat. They don't care if the animals have to walk around the river, so that's just what the animals did for many years. "But what does all this have to do with airplanes?" said my father, who thought the cat was taking an awfully long time to explain. "Be patient, Elmer," said the cat, and she went on with the story. "One day, about 4 months before I arrived on Wild Island, a baby dragon fell from a low-flying cloud onto the bank of the river. He was too young to fly very well, and besides, his wing was really bruised, so he couldn't get back to his cloud. The animals found him soon afterwards, and everybody said, 'This is just exactly what we've needed all these years.' They tied a big rope around his neck and waited for the wing to get well. This was going to end all their crossing the river troubles." "I've never seen a dragon," said my father. "Did you see him? How big is he?" "Oh, yes, indeed, I saw the dragon. In fact, we became great friends," said the cat. "I used to hide in the bushes and talk to him when nobody was around. He's not a very big dragon, although I imagine he's grown quite a bit since I left. He's got a long tail and yellow and blue stripes. His horn and eyes and the bottoms of his feet are bright red, and he has gold-colored wings." "Oh, how wonderful," my father said. "What did the animals do with him when his wing got well?" "They started training him to carry passengers, and even though he is just a baby dragon, they work him all day and all night too sometimes. They make him carry loads that are much too heavy, and if he complains, they twist his wings. He's always tied to a stake on a rope just long enough to go across the river. His only friends are the crocodiles, who say hello to him once a week if they don't forget. Really, he's the most miserable animal I've ever come across. When I left, I promised I'd try to help him someday, although I couldn't see how. The rope around his neck is about the biggest, toughest rope you can imagine, with so many knots it would take days and days to untie. Anyway, when you were talking about airplanes, you gave me a good idea. Now, I'm quite sure that if you were able to rescue the dragon, which wouldn't be the least bit easy, he'd let you ride him almost anywhere, provided you were nice to him, of course. How about trying it?" "Oh, I'd love to," said my father. And that's where I'm going to end tonight. I wonder what's going to happen. Will he save the dragon? If you want to see what happens, I hope you'll go to our webpage and, using the Project Gutenberg website, download this book for free. I've really enjoyed being here with you tonight, and I hope that you have a wonderful night. And good night, Fort Bend.